Hi Gemini, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your February 1st to the 15th, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading and clear the energy space, once again, a reminder not to engage with anybody in the comment box pretending to be me, asking you if you would like a free reading, and just to email them. That is not me, that is fraud, right? And just completely ignore them, delete them, and let me know. Okay, fantastic. With that said, let's clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as you enter into this safe and loving space. Now let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Gemini, February 1st to the 15th, 2021, Gemini. 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 Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Ooh. I love how that just flew right out. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. And that was you, Gemini. That was the Queen of Swords. So you just flew right out. And that's going to be you during this time. I love it. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Fantastic. Now let's look at your chakra energy. Gemini. February 1st to the 15th, 2021, Gemini. February 1st to the 15th, 2021, Gemini. February 1st to the 15th, 2021, Gemini. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Okay, these three. Yeah, these three. So we start here with nurturing. This is the Earth Star chakra, located 6 inches below your feet. Now, this is going to be the chakra energy during this time frame that needs to be focused on, that we need to work with and work on. Nurturing yourself is going to be part of this. Having yourself be grounded to the earth, grounded within yourself. This is going to be a time of really calling consciousness forward. And what this is saying here with the nurturing, it's nurturing your inner child. It's nurturing the parts of you where you sit there and you're like, I'm just going to keep on pushing forward. I can do more, until you hit a wall and you just think, why is it that everybody's having me do everything? We get really frustrated then. And so here, Gemini, what this is a sense of needing to nurture yourself, needing to step back, needing to create really healthy boundaries, needing to listen to the inner child within you, and also needing to listen to the needs of people around you, but not always the demands. So what Spirit just showed me in my head, it's like with my nephew, he demands, and he can get really forceful, really angry, really intense for somebody who's not even 2. And all of a sudden, that becomes your whole world. And it can build resentment. It can also make you really tired, make you really angry at things, because it's like, what the heck is going on? Why can't you just, be happy? And I just see that as being something that is going on here. It doesn't have to be with a toddler. It can definitely be with other people in your life, with a partner, with colleagues, where it's just kind of like they're throwing temper tantrums as if they were little children. And your response is going to be, okay, I can fix it. And sometimes, you know what? They just have to have their temper tantrum. They just have to be unhappy, and they have to learn how to cope with things without you swooping in and trying to save them. And that's going to be really important for you during this time. Really super important. And also nurturing what it is that you need, what it is that you want from life, who it is that you are. Focusing on the breath, I find to be so astounding. I've just started this, and it is a sense of while you're walking, while you're in the middle of things, kind of active meditating while you focus on the body. And now you can start focusing on the whole body, but sometimes I find that I start to focus on like, oh, my back hurts me a bit, or my feet are a bit sore, or, stuff like that. But if I just focus on breathing, all the discomfort kind of starts to fall away. And so that becomes a way to nurture the mind, the soul, and the power of yourself. And then this brings you to communication. Now, Gemini, to say that you have a problem with communication is kind of like saying a falcon is having an off day with flying. You are still a really good communicator. You may just be communicating too much, too intensely, too powerfully for the people around you who are really in their own dramas during this time. You're also picking up on everything that people are doing, everything, like the body language, the hidden subtext, the tonal inclinations. You're going to be picking up on all of that. And that's going to make the communication that you're dealing with so much more intense than maybe even the person who you're talking with is realizing. So here with the throat chakra, it's also embracing your communication with yourself. It's like focus on your throat chakra. Focusing on your breath is a beautiful way to focus on your throat chakra and start to see yourself embracing your power, embracing your understanding, saying, this is who I am, and speaking your truth. It doesn't mean that you have to speak your truth to others. They don't even have to know about it. But speaking your truth to you, saying, this is what I need. Journaling it out if you do best with journaling. Talking it out if you do best with talking. Talk to your spirit guides. Talk to your angels. Have this power guiding you forward. It helps you communicate what you truly want. And it also helps you really open up your throat chakra, because communication is such a powerful and integral part of who you are. And then it brings us to grounding. Again, not the root chakra, the earth star chakra, but we're talking about your roots here. We're talking about the power of planting the seeds, of going after what it is that you want, of looking at the soil that you've planted yourself in. Look at the thoughts that you have when everything's just kind of calm, or when you have a moment not to be in chaos, and see, are you bringing that chaos forward? Are you bringing the worry, the doubt, the fear? Are we living in the past? Because there is a sense of when you ground yourself, are you grounding yourself in what you think you should have done? Is it going to be kind of this constant thing of shoulda, woulda, coulda? Here, ground yourself in nurturing prosperity. Ground yourself in love and acceptance and power, in beauty and being. Ground yourself in your truth. Let yourself move forward in this. because that's going to be so important. It's going to be so important how you're taking care of yourself. You know, the foods that you are eating, the drinks that you are drinking, the air that you are breathing, you know, nice deep lungfuls at time to be able just to sit and calm and center yourself. So often we forget about everything. We get so caught up that it's like, oh, okay, I'll have a candy bar. You know, I'll, drink this soda. I'll, just always be on the go. And if you're like me, when you get stressed, I kind of hold my breath at times. And it's like, oh my gosh, breathe, So here, it's remembering that you matter. Remembering that the soil that you're planting yourself in, the fuel that you're giving yourself, it matters. And it's taking that all into consideration as you are moving forward, because you're grounding yourself also here in your communicative skills, in your ability to connect, in the words that you speak, in the ideas that you have. This is a time where you're going to be setting things up like building blocks. Now, the left-hand side here is your inner self. The middle is your heart, your emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So we have the Seven of Cups. I love that your dreams come forward. The Two of Swords, the High Priestess. This is why the grounding is so important. And the Page of Pentacles, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. The Three of Cups, the Eight of Swords, Judgment, and the King of Swords. Oh, I love it. Your heart is being set free from something, but it is a battle during this time. It really is. It brings you then to the Queen of Swords. So I love this. The King and the Queen of Swords coming together. This is a soulmate connection. This is a true love connection. This is you becoming a powerhouse, most definitely. You also have strong Libra energy right here because the Justice represents Libra in the major arcana. Time frame September 23rd to October 22nd. The World and the Devil. Okay. Wow. So it's like everything opens to you. But then there's a warning of addictions, of past patterns, of thinking, I'm not good enough. I can't possibly move forward this way. Success gets to be for other people, not me. I'll never find love. I'll never be where I want to be. I'll always be struggling. I'll always be searching. There's something that's coming forward. Don't let this doubt take it away. Don't let this anger, this chaos take control. You're not your addictions. You're not your failed relationships. You're not your anger. You're not your temper. You're not your pain. You are something so much greater. But chaos wants you to stay at a low vibrational energy. They want you to plant your beautiful self, your beautiful tree of being, your tree of life. They want you to plant it in sandy, terrible soil that will not let it grow at all. They want you to take away your blessing. Now you're calling it forward. And that's going to be such the difference of this time for you. Because you start off here. You start off with dreams. You start off with in yourself. This is going to be a time where you kind of come back to that idea of this is what I want. This is what I need. Oh, I haven't thought about this for years. Or, oh my gosh, I just keep on coming to my dreams. If you go to sleep every night saying to your spirit guide, please guide my dreams. Guide my dreams. Now, whether you give your spirit guide a name or not, whether my spirit guide's name is Imani, whether you think it will help or you won't, this is a sense. It doesn't have to be your spirit guide. You can say, subconscious, guide me as I sleep, if that makes you feel better. Because this is bringing your subconscious into a place of power and guiding you as you're sleeping, because you're telling yourself, as you're drifting off to bed, as you are kind of entering that realm of thinness between the spirit world and our earthly plane, you are saying, bring forward what I need to know. Help me see what I need to understand. And this brings you to a place of dreams. This brings you to a place of power. This brings you to things that you have forgotten about yourself or that you gave up on and you thought, I couldn't possibly move forward in this success, in this bounty. My dreams, they get to be a safe haven that I get to go to when the world stinks and, I'm wishing for better, but I don't get better. Here, with the Seven of Cups, you're going to start to see that you do get better, that your dreams don't have to be kept away from the world, because the world ruins dreams. At times, it really does. People will tear things apart, and yet they themselves will never have the courage to even think of opening up their dreams, letting their dreams be a part of their lives. But they'll be the first to cut people down. So here, what you are seeing is you're seeing an embrace of yourself. You're seeing an embrace of what you desire. You're seeing an opening up of your world. And this brings you to the Two of Swords. You thought life had to be one way or another. You thought there was this path and there was this path. What is coming forward to me is is my mom's story. When my mom was growing up, you either became a nurse or you became a teacher if you were a woman. And that was it. That's all she knew. And so she decided she couldn't be a nurse because she would tell the story, even though my grandma was a nurse. She'd tell her mom, she's like, listen, I know you want me to be a nurse, but if somebody is throwing up, I'll be throwing up right there with them. Don't even. So I always thought that was so funny because my grandma was so proud. And my mom was like, I can't even. So she went into teaching. She studied teaching and she was becoming a teacher. But she didn't like teaching. She loved the children. She loved everything. But she would tell us, as we were growing up, they would tell them about certain children, just pass them on. You can't hold them back anymore. They're just going to have to move forward. And she said they were falling through their cracks and there was nothing that she could do. And so she wound up leaving and she wound up studying business. She wound up going into catering and then she wound up getting fired because her boss said, sleep with me or you're fired. And she said, bye. And she then wound up going into business, getting a fellowship, studying business and loving it, absolutely loving it. A door opened to her that she never thought possible. And she went through these different steps because, it was like, oh, you could go here because this isn't right for you. So she went to another place. Then that door got slammed into her face by this guy, by her boss. And then a world opened up to her and she was the first person in her family to graduate college. She was the first person to go to get a master's degree. And that was just something that was astounding. It wasn't expected. And that's what I'm seeing here for you. It's like, it's not expected. What you are seeing is you're seeing a world open that you didn't think was going to be open to you. You thought there were two paths. They had to be either this path or that path. And now you're going to see yourself opening to a new truth, opening to a new power. And it's going to be like, I didn't even think that was possible. And there's going to be a sense of kind of going with the current. It's not going to happen. It's going to happen naturally. It's not going to happen because you're forcing it. And I know a lot of times that can get us upset because we're thinking, I'm working so hard, I should start to see the rewards. But it's like, you're going to start to see things being driven by your dreams, but being driven by divinity. And divinity works in the oddest of ways, but also in the most powerful of ways. And it leads you then to the High Priestess. You have the repeat of the number 2 here. So this is leading you to balance, to creativity, to collaborations, okay? Between you and your spirit guides, that would be a beautiful collaboration. But you're seeing yourself here open up. Open up to your wisdom. Open up to what you desire. Open up to what you need. So here the veil is being lifted from your eyes and you're looking at things more openly and more honestly. This can be astoundingly overwhelming, especially if it comes at you kind of all at once. But usually if the veil lifts very quickly, it's usually after tremendous trauma, okay? So do be prepared if that is something that is happening. You could have gone through a very traumatic time, which, from the last year, we can definitely see that everybody was put in trauma, and we're still going through that trauma now. But there is an intensity here about seeing behind the veil of truth. So there's a wall of logic that we hold up within our world. It has to be like this and it has to be like that. You can't possibly be so silly. And there's a sense almost that belief is something to be mocked. If you were truly, a brilliant mind or scientific or something like that, you wouldn't think. You wouldn't think in a spiritual sense. But there's beauty in both. And there's a way that people can live with both and in that collaboration. Here with the High Priestess, it's stepping back from the world. It's saying there's a place for logic, but there is also a place for deep guided wisdom that connects me with my earth, with my soul, and with myself, that pulls me back from the noise of this world and says, this is who I am, and this is where I need to be. There's a sense here that you're going to be calling yourself out a bit, calling yourself out on things that you held yourself back from. Like, I couldn't possibly go after my dreams because it's just not done. Nobody in my family has ever. I've taken too long, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too this, I'm too that. We have 1,010,000 different things we say to ourselves. Until I'm perfect, I won't. And here's the thing, perfection is a lie. There will always be something else that you think you just need to tweak a bit before before you can. There's going to be a need to kind of take that leap of faith, to jump forward, because you're going to be seeing the truth behind who you are so much more. This does not mean that you need to quit your job, run away, join the circus type of thing. This means that you need to look at the beauty, the power, and the comprehension of yourself, to embrace you, to embolden you, and to move you forward. That there is more to you than failure, doubt, fear, addiction, disabilities, anger, and just simply falling on your face, as everybody does in this world. We all fall down, and yet we all think, oh my gosh, everybody would laugh. Like, nobody has to know. Like, nobody should know that I fell down, that everything fell apart. And it becomes something we're ashamed of. It becomes something that we get angry towards. Here, it's not the fall that matters, though sometimes the fall can be devastating. Believe me, as a person who has lost everything in their life, everything, that just sat there and watched it all crumbling and was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And there was no way to fix it. There was no way to stop it. It was like it was an avalanche, and it just came and swept everything out. Here, there is this sense that after the chaos, there comes truth. And we start to see the truth because our foundations have been shaken. And as you see the truth and you see the truth and you see the truth, you embrace your empowerment. You embrace yourself. You sit there and say, I'm not worthless. I've made some bad decisions. Yes, okay. I've walked down some wrong paths. All right, that's true too. But I'm not a mistake. And there's nothing that can rob our dreams except ourselves. And I know that sounds harsh to say, but the High Priestess is having you look within you. It's having you see that dream needs to come forward. And the only person who has any power over exactly what you do is you. And you start to see that power because you also start to see the cracks in everybody around you. Now, if you're in an abusive relationship, if you've had an abusive experience where people have just spoken negativity over you, especially when you were little, but especially also when you're in love and you just give your heart to somebody fully, you don't expect them to hurt you. And sometimes you don't know that the pain that is being inflicted in your life, be it, physical or verbal or mental, you don't know that that's not the norm. And so that's a very hard cycle to break. But you're starting to see here the kinks in that person's armor, the truth behind them, how they bellowed, they roared like a lion because then they themselves were too afraid, because they had to pick on people weaker than them, because they themselves were weak, because they couldn't love without controlling and manipulating. And that's not love at all. And you start to see this because you start to see you. And it brings you to a place where seeds of prosperity are planted, where bounty starts to come forward, wealth starts to come in. This is being a student of prosperity. This is starting to see the interconnectedness of your life. This is starting to say, if not me, then who? If not now, then when? Why can't I? Why can't I embrace the extraordinary? Why can't I move forward in my glory? Why can't I? And it starts to open you up to so much more than you expected. It also starts to have your mind make connections that you never had before. See things more openly, more honestly, and more beautifully. This brings you, this stance of the legs, that brings you to a place of calling in wisdom, calling in grace and power and truth. And that's what you're doing. You're going to see here being the Page of Pentacles, being the person who starts learning about the seeds. It brings you to a place where you start learning about the ways that you want to move forward. You start seeing your talents, and instead of thinking, well, those aren't really talents, that's just me. They are your talents. Not everybody can do what you do, Gemini. And it's time to set those seeds. It's time to communicate with yourself that growth, that power, that brilliance, because in your heart, you have the Three of Cups. And I always see the Three of Cups as those people in our lives that raised the glass to us, that said, I honor you, I cherish you, I believe you can conquer it all, right? And they were lying through their teeth. They said they loved you and they never meant it. I'll stand by you, and they just didn't. They pushed you, so you fell. They were the people who you trusted, and they broke your heart, whether it be a parent, whether it be a lover, whether it be a sibling, whether it be, a teacher, a friend, whomever. They broke your heart. They took away something from you. A bit of trust, a bit of innocence, a bit of beauty. And we can mourn that our whole entire lives. I mean, you really can, Gemini. You can sit there and look at the pain and let it take over. Let it declare everything that you are, everything that you will be. It will stunt you. It will hurt you. And this is a time where you're looking at that pain and you're saying, you don't get to. You don't get to hurt me anymore. You don't get to be this voice in my head, this power in my heart that keeps me from love, that keeps me from joy, that keeps me from happiness, that keeps me from success. I am worth it, and I am rising. And it brings you to the Eight of Swords. And as your heart starts to say this, your mind is like, oh, heck no, we're trapped. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you see that trap. It's kind of like when you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, well, I have to lose weight, and maybe if this was better or that was better, this and that. And we start listing all in our heads what's wrong with us, why we can't be beautiful, why we can't be attractive, why nobody wants to be with us, type of thing. Or why a person doesn't like us as much as they once did. You're going to find yourself during this time looking at that pain, looking at that web that was woven around you, that gets into your mind, and saying, no. You don't get to do this to me. I don't get to do this to me. And this is that road that you thought was there. It's kind of like, well, maybe I just can't do better. Maybe it's always going to be like this. And that's defeat. And here's the thing. When you have been abused, or when you are in an abusive place, or when depression starts to take over, or just, sorrow starts to take over, they want you to feel. The chaos of the world wants you to feel like you cannot rise. Because if you are at a lower base vibration, you're like the rest of the world. And the rest of the world is doing a really great job of being angry all the time, of hurting the earth, of, everything, right? Screaming at each other left and right, and not helping, not healing. You want to rise. When your energy vibration rises, when you're not the base self anymore, and you start to embrace yourself psychically, through the power of spirit, through the power of the universe, through the power of you, emotionally, because you're connecting with your breath, you're connecting with your soul, okay? Lovingly, because you are a person to be cherished. There are seeds to be planted. There's beauty to be had. When you start embracing yourself as a beautiful, powerful being. All right, so maybe not millionaires. Maybe we're not all set out to be millionaires and drive fancy cars and live in the exclusive, places in the world. Not everybody can be that. And sometimes, we think that brings the happiness, the joy, the prosperity, the success, the peace. And a lot of times it doesn't. Here, it is breaking yourself free from the chains that have held you back for way too long, that have kept you silent, that have kept you stunted. And it's starting to see that who you are is enough. Who you are is beautiful and powerful and graceful and determined and dedicated. Who you are opens doors. And it embraces who you will be. And it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter the mistakes you made in the past, the addictions that you had, the family that you grew up in, okay? What was spoken over you, the mistakes that you have made. What matters is the now. And you're taking back your now. Your heart is seizing it, and it leads you. And I could cry, okay? Because it leads you to a freeing. It leads you to a judgment, to a resurrection of soul and self, to an empowerment of being, to a saying, there is more here for me than I ever knew. And I let the world beat me down. Because the world tries to beat everybody down. It just does. Anger, doubt, fear, chaos, hurt, pain, disappointment. These don't always come to people at the same time. And we're very good as human beings at hiding these hurts and these pains. But they always come. And you're seeing yourself rise. Rise to your power. Rise to your beauty. Rise in your strength. Rise in your determination. You're rising up. A resurrection of the spirit. Instead of living in sorrow and doubt and fear, you are starting to embrace the joy, the determination, the power that is you. And you're letting yourself be raised by your angels, by your spirit guides, by the power of your connection with the earth, by the being present in the here and the now, by the sowing seeds of beauty and grace and love. And it moves you to being a king. And it's very interesting. The King of Swords is the king of the mind. So you have yourself here, and this is you. You know, you're represented by the king in the minor arcana. You're represented by the lovers, by the king. You're represented by the swords in the minor arcana, by the lovers in the major arcana. And here you have you shining through as both the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine, as both king and queen. And the mind here is connected with the heart. Now the mind is logic, it's thought, it's reason, right? But it's also our inner computer. We need our minds. Our ability for complex thought is what sets us apart from other beings on this earth. And so here, as you're embracing your mind and you are embracing your heart, you're realizing that we are emotional beings. And as emotional beings, we're not always rational. And we can go to the other extreme and then try to be super rational beings. And then the heart is taken out of it. The emotion is taken out of it. So we want to be right in the middle. We want to use our logic to help us, to guide us. Because, we're smart and we're powerful, right? Gemini, there is a need to call in that power, to call in that smarts. To let your mind embrace the power of being you. But also connect with what your heart wants, with what your soul desires, with what your being is calling forward. The King of Swords cuts through doubts and fears. The King of Swords does not accept the bull that other people try to give him. He sits there and says, I'm a warrior king. You, Gemini, are a warrior. You have been forged as a sword has been forged in the greatest of fires. Okay? And then all the imperfection has been pounded out. You have been shaped. You have been tested beyond limits at times. And this makes you a warrior king. This makes you fierce, determined, focused, and on fire. With knowledge and truth, skill, and determination. Because the sword, in all of the tarot, in all the minor arcana, the sword is the one single weapon that can only be a weapon. And it also represents wealth and prosperity and people of power. Because back in ancient times, people of lower classes, they were not allowed to have swords. A lot of times it was punishable by death. To have a sword set up your future. Kings would reward valiant warriors with swords. And that sword would be passed down because it was so expensive. And it was so valued. It made you an elite warrior. That's what you're embracing. That skill, that elite warrior sense. And you go through the ringer. A lot of air signs do. And people sit there and think, with air signs, they think, oh, well, they're flighty. Because the air guides air signs. You're not flighty. You leave situations when you have learned all you can from them. And you're also going to be very inclined not to waste times with fools. As a king, you are center stage. Your heart is center stage. Your soul and your passion. That's why everything right now seems to be coming at you to take you away from your goals and your gifts, to make you doubt yourself, to sit there and say, don't you remember that you messed up and that you can't possibly? It's almost like like there's a little inner voice inside of you, that nasty little voice of destruction that's saying you waited too long. You already failed. And that is a lie. You have yourself in the public arena as the queen. Your heart is seen. That's why your heart will be attacked. Your mind is seen. That's why your mind will be attacked. By the anger, by the pain, by the disappointment. So be mindful of this. The Queen of Swords, she does not need to be center stage. I see the queens more as directors behind the scenes. You are looking at what it is that you want, where it is that you want to be, and you're situating things. You're putting things together so that you can move forward the way that you want to. You again are cutting through the doubts and the fears, the angers and the upsets. You have trained too long. You are a powerhouse. There is force, determination, blessings, and grace here. Embrace it and let it embrace you. Do not walk away during this time when things get hard or when you start to doubt yourself. Sit there and say, no, there is truth here. It's not keeping yourself in a bad situation, but it's not letting situations win over you. There's justice coming in. Now for me, justice is not everything having to be fair and equal. You can have a whole time, you have your whole life taken up with trying to make things fair for everybody and still having everybody mad at you. Justice is the discernment, saying, this energy, I like it around me. I need it around me. This energy, I can't have it around me. This food I can eat, this food I can't. It's kind of like, think of it like that. Think of it in terms of food. Think of it as the food that hurts your stomach, and think of it as the food that you feel really energized after eating, and the food that makes you feel sluggish and tired. So with justice, you're going to be looking at the people. You're going to be looking at the things around you. What makes you feel sluggish and tired? What steals away your power and prosperity? And what adds to it? This is drawing lines in the sand. This is sitting there and saying, this is my line. I will not cross it, and I don't want you to cross it either. It brings you to the world opening up. Because you are claiming your power, because there is justice moving you forward, and because you embrace that justice, the world opens to you, because you are now being just to yourself. And as the world opens, doors that you thought were locked, barred, cemented over, they start to open up to you. You start to see the world in a new way. You start to embrace your world, yourself and your soul. It isn't going to be here, and Spirit wants me to make this terribly clear. It isn't going to be everybody else's world. It just isn't. Your world is made for you. You have specific talents. You have specific gifts. Now, you might have a job that pays the bills, and that's good. That is good. But you need to also feed your soul, feed yourself. So this is taking 15 minutes a day to start, or, start off with 5. If you can, 2 minutes a day to start to feed that soul. Start to say, this is what I want. This is what I need from life. This is the joy. This is the prosperity. This is the bounty that makes me feel alive. This is what makes my heart sing. And you start to guide your attention towards that. You start to look at that. You start to smile. You start to laugh. You start to concentrate on your breath. You are really in the moment when you are doing things. Okay? From washing the dishes to going for a walk, playing with the kids, whatever it is, playing with your dog, being in the moment, being present, so that it's not that everybody's laughing around you and you're smiling because you're supposed to be smiling, but in the back of your head, you're thinking about all the million different things that you have to do. Now it's time to let joy in and see how the world opens to you. Because what happens as you do this is that you have the devil come. Now this is Capricorn energy, December 22nd to January 19th is the time frame. This is the puppet on the string. This is the puppet master. This is a sense of being controlled and manipulated. This is a sense of anger, doubt, fear. This is the addiction. This is the habit that can't be broken. This is the temper that can't get under control. This is the disability that is defining your whole entire life. This is everything that has gotten out of hand. And what I mean by disability, when it's defined your whole entire life, as somebody who is disabled, okay? It is when you only think of yourself as half a person type of thing. It's like everybody else is better than me because everybody else could naturally do this and I couldn't, or I can't. So here, these are those things that were spoken over you when you were small. These are the things that you struggled with. These are the coping mechanisms that came up that have now taken over your life. This is chaos. Now the devil is a conglomeration of ancient forest gods, ancient, forest gods, nature gods. That's the word, nature gods. And the thing with nature is that nature is naturally chaos. You wouldn't have to weed the garden beds all the time if, weeds knew where to grow and where not to, if nature wasn't chaos. This is the chaotic nature of the world trying to pull you under, trying to make you very nihilistic. What does it matter? You all wind up dead anyway. Why does it matter? That type of statement. And I know that's rather harsh to say and can be very disturbing, but it's that type of fatalism that comes in that can start to rule your life. That doesn't get to win. Because what we do is we kind of fight against that in a very weird and different way. We'll start to, try to make it so that everything always looks perfect. So that we always look like we have it all together. Like we're what everybody envies. People, Spirit is saying right now, people try to look too young for too long. And I know that sounds kind of out of the blue, but it's saying here, let yourself be you. Don't sit there and think, oh my gosh, I'm over 20, worth is gone, that type of thing. Let yourself be you. Do not let the doubts, the fears, the angers, the upsets, the upheavals define everything, control you, manipulate you, so that they can get you to do what they want you to do out of fear and doubt and anger. It is time to embrace you, to embrace your power, your knowledge, and your truth. Because you're going to see that once you embrace chaos and you look at chaos and say, I see you. I see you for the bully that you are. I see you for simply being your nature, your natural self. I see you. But what's more important is that I see me. So let's here look at the energy that you have to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Gemini has to be mindful of? February 1st to the 15th, 2021, Gemini. What is the energy that Gemini has to be mindful of? February 1st to the 15th, 2021, Gemini. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Ooh, goodness. And these two, right here, is what Spirit's saying. Okay. So we're starting here with Virgo energy, all right? Time frame August 23rd to September 22nd. But this is the Hermit energy. This is the energy that wants you just to pull into yourself, that wants you to just be looking at you, looking at what you need. It's getting way too much in your own head. It's letting the past guide your anger. It's letting the future guide your fear, all right? And it is sitting there and saying, but this is all there is. And this is like kind of falling down the rabbit hole. This is going way too deep into things. Stepping back, seeing what you want, seeing what you need, seeing the joy within your life, and letting that come forward. That becomes the game changer. But this can steal away everything. Because the Hermit, I'm a huge fan of the Hermit. I love the Hermit. Those quiet, beautiful times, that connection with nature and soul and the guiding light. It's beautiful. But the ugly side of the Hermit is the chaos and the anger and the being too much in your own mind and only letting kind of your own words bounce around and letting, the fear, the anger, the doubt build and build and build. Then it leads to the Prince of Pentacles, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. But this is the energy of very slow movement towards success. And I'm seeing here almost as if your feet are caught in quicksand. Or, it's sinking you. It's draining out your success, your prosperity, your dreams. Because you're fed up with how long it's taking. And it's also going to be a time where you think, slow go. It's kind of like you're not ready to charge forward. Not quite yet. There's something here where you need to kind of think things through a bit more. But you're going to always say, when it's perfect, like when I have it perfect, then I can do it. And here it's like, there's never going to be a perfect. Lay a solid foundation. know truly who it is that you are, in a sense of, this is what I want to create. And then let it become. Let yourself explore it. And then this leads you to the King of Pentacles. Now, the King of Pentacles, when the King of Pentacles is in its negative state, and again, this is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, you have to be very mindful here of earth sign energy, okay, coming in, or it can just be Virgo energy, that energy of going too much into your own mind, contemplating, questioning, thinking, but just never getting anywhere. It almost feels like you're on a hamster wheel. Here, you're making the interconnections, but you're not seeing things as clearly. There's something here that you're like over-exaggerating its importance, or you're looking at it not quite as powerfully as you should, or properly. It's properly, not powerfully. And it's having a powerful effect over you. It's keeping you from rising in wealth. There is something here where, even though Spirit is saying you're not taking a jump quite yet, you're not going to take that leap of like just jump into it, but there's going to be a push that you need to do to start. It's like to start planning, to start mapping things up, to start seeing. That's where you're focusing your time and your attention. But you're going to get, it's getting caught in the details, getting caught in the nitty-gritty of it all. That will be a trap you can easily step into. So that's going to be something you have to be very mindful of. Okay, now let's go deeper. Gemini. February 1st to the 15th, 2021, Gemini. February 1st to the 15th, 2021, Gemini. February 1st to the 15th, 2021, Gemini. Angels and spirit guides. Okay, this wants to be right here, so we will let it be right here. Show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. Okay. You have the Queen of Swords coming through again, now crowning your inner self, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Page of Wands. Then we have the King of Wands. Is this the Page of Wands or the Page of Swords? No, this is the Page of Pentacles. Thank you. Over the Page of Pentacles. Okay, fantastic. Judgment coming in over Judgment. That's awesome. Then we have the Nine of Wands. Eight of Pentacles. 10 of Swords. And the Star. Huh. Okay. Things are not fooling around here, Gemini. It comes at you hard and it comes at you fast. With the Queen of Swords over your dreams and over kind of thinking, but this is the way or this is the way. And kind of, it's like the foundational truth has been shaken. You're looking at things and you're saying, but it's like not supposed to be this way, or, but how? It's like you want to know how. And divinity is saying here, trust in your dreams. Let them come to the surface. The how will come. The faith needs to come. There needs to be the sense with the Queen of Swords of, I'm not going to be pushed around anymore. I'm not going to silence my voice. I am focusing on what I need, what I desire, and where I want to be. And those doors start to open. That truth starts to come. That is my place, my power, my abundance. And you're starting to sever the ties of chaos. And it leads you to the Wheel of Fortune. It leads you to a whole change. It's like the High Priestess comes in, the veil is lifted, the doors are open, you start to see things more clearly, and you're entering into a new season. Now, you might not always, when we enter into a new season, we always think, wow, I'm entering into a spring or a summer, it's just going to be awesome. But sometimes we enter into a winter, and sometimes we enter into a fall. But there is a sense here of needing to embrace and love whatever season we are in. And it doesn't mean that we love exactly what's going on. It means that we respect it. Love is a powerful word, and sometimes it asks a little bit too much. I think respect is very appropriate here. Respect where you are and who you are and what you desire and where you need to be and the change that comes, because you are going to feel like you've been on a roller coaster ride. Your highs, your lows, your lefts, your rights, and everything in between. You are respecting the power and the brilliance that is leading you forward, that is taking you on this change. Because even if it is a season where you don't really want to be there, like it's not exactly what you want, or it is a time where you're facing these challenges, you're going to see their worth later on. You're going to see what power they gave you, what insight they blessed you with that others do not have. And it moves you to really seriously, during this time, you're being a student of your prosperity. This is a time where you start to really think of new ventures to embrace, new ways of planting the seeds within your life. Like new ideas are going to be coming to you, new ways of moving forward, new power to guide you. And it leads you to being a king of your passion, of your fire, of what you desire in life. It's like no one will hold me back. And that's why the heart, this crowns you. And that's why the heart here responds so, chaos responds so powerfully to your heart. It kind of wants to kick you in the heart. It wants to make you doubt your heart, be angry at your heart. Because if you listen to the passion of your heart, you will start to let yourself move forward. You will start to let yourself embrace and overcome and become much more powerful within your life and move very close to the place that you long to be, to the place that you want to be. And at times that can be scary and it can be overwhelming, but it is also going to be beautiful and it is going to be a powerful truth. So here, there is that fight, there is that battle, there is that kind of give and that take, but there is this resurrection of self. There is this judgment, there is this sense of not looking at yourself and judging yourself and saying, oh, I'm not, as whatever as I want to be, because we can make a list a mile long or better of what we want and what we're not. But it's looking at ourselves and saying, I'm rising. I'm rising to something better. I'm living in a more prosperous, more profound, more brilliant world. I am, because I am, and I will always be. And there's a power to this resurrection. There's a power to this reclaiming. And it has you moving away. And that's why you're embracing the king here at your roots. It has you moving away from the chaos that has always come in. The sense of, what if they think, what will they think? Like, what if you mess up, right? You will have a tendency, Gemini, to hold on to that, to have that saying, this is proving that I'm not as whatever as I should be. I'm not taking things as seriously as I should be. I'm not, working as hard as I should be. All the doubts and the fears. And then you start projecting that onto that person, on a person who you think might be mad at you or who kind of maybe said something and you think, oh my gosh, I did do that wrong. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And then you're going to think, oh, what will they think of me? Or, how will this affect me? And we obsess. We obsess as human beings because we're made to be social creatures. We obsess what other people think and if we could have offended them or, how will they take this? And yes, you can sit there and say, I don't care what anybody thinks. Then this part of the message, it isn't for you. But if you find yourself, like me, you might just be a natural warrior. You might not want to offend anybody. You might try to be so careful that at times you can feel paralyzed. And here, it's looking at the world and saying, you know what? You will have your opinion and you will always have your opinion. But I get to have my life. I get to stand in my truth. I've been through the war of existence. It's not an easy path. We come into this world screaming, it's not an easy road. Now it's time to embrace your truth, your power, your kingliness, your right, because you're crowned by a king. You're grounded by a king. There is might to your heart. There's fire, there's passion, there's logic, there's truth, there's determination. And it moves you to seeing your hard work pay off, to seeing what you have crafted come to pass. And it moves you to claiming your throne, to claiming your truth, to knowing what it is that you desire, to standing in your blessings. And it brings you then, as you do so, to a balancing of self, to a justice, to a clarity. There is a sense during this time you need to speak your truth because you have a love coming in. Now, whether it's falling in love with your life again, falling in love with yourself, sitting there and seeing all those things that you thought about you that weren't that great, that, they might be quirky, but they make you awesomely you. What you have crafted comes into play. Your hard work pays off. Prosperity comes forward. People notice you. It might not be your boss. It might be, somebody when you're out for a walk or when you're out somewhere. They say hi. They're like, oh, you're back. It's so nice to see you, type of thing. And it's nice. It doesn't have to be, it's not going to be the way that we expect. We like things to come to us monetarily. We like things to come to us to increase our prestige. But sometimes they can just come to us kindly and softly and gently and still be beautiful. Because the Ten of Swords is the death and rebirth of the world that you stand in. The Ten of Swords is seeing through all the pain and all the suffering that you have been through. You're not the same person. And at times you mourn that. At times you sit there and think, but I wish I had the old me back. But the new you is where you stand. Divinely created and powerfully guided. This is the darkness before the dawn, before you embrace your new world, your new truth, before you see this beauty. And it can just be one little thing that you start to see that is beautiful about you. You could sit there and kind of, okay, so you could sit there and always kind of hate your hair. And I don't know why I'm saying this, but I always wanted thick, beautiful, lush, just gorgeous hair. And it didn't really work out that way. But it's good hair. But I always wanted more, right? And so here, instead of looking at things and saying, well, it's not what I envisioned, it's not what I dreamed of, but it's what I have. And so the rebirth of the mind, the rebirth of the sense of, but it's what I have. And it might not be like my sister's hair, which is the hair I wanted, which was thick enough to make rope out of, but it's mine and it's good. And so here, it's like, but it's mine and it's good. And I resurrect into that power. I resurrect into that truth. And it brings you then to the stars in the sky, the chasing of the shooting star, the power, the falling into the stars, into our truths, into our dreams, into our wishes. But these are our soul's wish, not the ones we cross our fingers for and say, oh, I'd really like this. This is what our soul wishes for, that divinity brings forward. This is the highest form of man's perfection over the devil, over the verbalization of chaos. And so here, or another name for chaos. And so here, your wish is being pulled away by chaos. And you can either fall into that chaos and let the wish fall away. Or you can say to that chaos, not now. The stars are guiding my path. My wishes are coming true. I am moving forward in a way I hadn't imagined. And it brings you then to your spirit animal. Gemini. February 1st to the 15th, 2021, Gemini. February 1st to the 15th, 2021, Gemini. February 1st to the 15th, 2021, Gemini. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Fantastic. We have the Panther spirit. It says know your worth. Okay? No, not know your worth. Reclaim your power. And it comes through knowing your worth. Reclaim your power. It's time to take it back, Gemini. It's time to take back your power, your grace, your determination, your force. It brings you then to the grasshopper spirit. Take that leap of faith. Take that leap of faith and see where it gets you. Take that leap of faith and see what happens. It's time to jump. It's time to try. It's time to go. And then you have the rhino spirit, overcoming any obstacle. You're overcoming the obstacles set before you, the doubts set within you. You're overcoming them, and you're embracing you. You're going to see that things that would have once made you stop, would have once made you cringe, would have once made you run away in fear. You're saying, I can handle that, and I will handle that. Your subconscious spirit animal message is the owl spirit. You see clearly now, because you have the High Priestess. You have the veil being lifted from your eyes, the truth coming in. You have the new season coming forward. You have the change around you. so you see clearly as you move towards your goals, as you move within your truth. It brings you then to your subconscious person message, which is the Queen of Pentacles. Now you have all pentacles coming forward. So it's very important with what you plant, with the seeds that you plant in. Because also with the pentacles, what Spirit is saying now is that if you turn inward, but you're focusing on the negative, if you're sitting there and saying, well, you're too messy, you've always been messy, it's time to clear up, I can't believe what's wrong with you, can't you get yourself together? That type of message, those will plant seeds within your heart, within your soul, of first of all, not being good enough, of still being a mistake, and not being able to do what you are supposed to do. Now it's time to look at things and say, step by step, inch by inch, I'm embracing my prosperity. I'm moving forward in prosperity. The Queen of Pentacles is looking at things and embracing wealth, is looking at things and saying, this is the truth that guides me forward. This is where I need to stand. And this is how I need to stand in the rhythm, in the wealth, in the power that is me. Just because you're not like everybody else, it doesn't mean that you're wrong. It means that you are walking a different path. And maybe they don't understand it, but they don't have to. This leads you to your subconscious chakra message, which is peace, the crown chakra. During this time, you need to crown yourself in peace. Peace, happiness, joy, love, centering. Focus on the breath. Focus on the calm. Let it come forward, and it will change you more than you realize. Then we have your subconscious tarot message. The Queen of Pentacles again. The Queen of Pentacles. Prosperity, success, and bounty. Wealth coming in. And getting to embrace that wealth. It's funny. We work our whole lives to be seen as successes. And especially if you've had such a hard road. If you've doubted that you would ever be successful. Okay? I know I have, most definitely. Sat there and said, it'll never be me, right? And then when you start to have a bit of success, you think, when's the next shoe going to drop? When is it all going to fail? And so you start speaking failure over yourself. Instead of saying, wahoo, I found my path. Finally. Finally, I get to embrace me. Openly, honestly, lovingly, caringly. I get to have prosperity in my life. And I don't get to wait till it gets taken away again. And that's what needs to be done. Not waiting for the next shoe to drop. Not waiting for the failure to come. But saying, no, this is my road. And it is a road of success. Because I am divinely and greatly blessed. And that's when you get to be wealthy. Because wealthy people don't expect it all to fall away. They can also do the most kind of silly things. And it winds up being successful. Everybody winds up following it. And you're thinking, why? But it's because they believed it. And then it was. This moves you to go deeper into the subconscious message. Yeah, the Nine of Swords. A sense of nightmares, doubts, fears. That fear of poverty, that fear of failure, that fear of not being enough, that fear that you will never be able to move forward. This is what you're facing. This is what you're overcoming to be successful, prosperous, and to live like a queen, like royalty in success. Do not let the nightmares come in anymore. And I know it's hard. We worry. We do. But when the worry starts to come in, that's the past trying to be an anchor around our neck. When this fear starts to guide us forward, that's the future trying to say you'll never be able to get here the way that you want to be. So it's time to step back. And it's time to say, this is who I am. And I am successful beyond measure. Because I have stardust coursing through my veins. And a God's head living within me. The power of divinity. Because it's hidden within each and every one of us. Because it's the one place we're never supposed to look. We're never supposed to turn within. Always external, never internal. Turn within. And you will see the nightmares slayed. But you will also see the nightmares understood. Starting to talk to the fear. Why are you holding me back? What is it that you're keeping me from? Why is it that I am afraid? Because subconsciously, You're trying to protect yourself. But what needs protection? And you definitely do not need to be protected from success. All right, Gemini. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as you transform and are reborn in the prosperity that you have worked so hard for and in the power of your soul's dream. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Gemini.